Hi, it's Jasmine. You know, that girl who did you know what way before the internet ever existed. Join me and my special guest every week as we talk about anything and everything because nothing is too taboo. So punch your ticket and get on board the crazy train with me, Jasmine St. Clair. All aboard!
Yeah. Did you work at a strip club in Toronto? Because it's so different up there than the States.
It's so different. I remember I did a couple of the airport clubs that were actually in a suburb outside of Toronto called Mississauga. In Toronto, you need a stripper's license, you need a dance license, and it's like I think now it's around maybe $500 to $700 annually. And I didn't have one of those, but I got booked at a number of these strip clubs out near the airport. And they kept saying to me, "We want you for a burlesque act. Come on out here and do a burlesque show." Well, I got in there and I'm like, you got the poles on the stage, you've got the disco lights going, girls are giving lap dances behind a sheer curtain. I'm like, this is a strip club. You guys have me at a strip club. So what did I do? I seized the moment and I said, oh, no. Forget about the pasties, the tassels, and the G-string. Let's do this. And I had a couple of amazing evenings, really just bearing it, sharing it, and working with a community of women that were very different from the burlesque world. Very different. In burlesque, I mean, it's showbiz, and we're very 5, 6, 7, 8 about it, like let's get out there and give them a razzle dazzle of a show. And a lot of the times there is that separation between the performer and the audience. But in the strip club, it's rather immersive. It can be very much an opportunity to connect and to be physical with each other, or at least to be up close with each other. Very different than the burlesque stage, which is usually at a bit of a distance. I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. Everyone else was picking, the latest hip hop tracks, and I'm such a huge rock fan. I'm like, give me the Rolling Stones' Slave. That's like a 7-minute track on Tattoo You, and it is so hot. And I like to give a rock and roll fantasy. If I'm out there under those lights, let me slither around. I will whip the wig I have on my head, and I'll serve that shit. I love it.
That's awesome. I featured once in Mississauga, Ontario. I remember getting arrested.
That's where I was.
Yeah, I forgot the club, but the club owner came and bailed me out of jail later that night. Yeah, so I think they were like following me, but I did a few bad things that night. I was selling my porn tapes, which I thought I was allowed to sell. Then I went to a party with some guy in a motorcycle. Then we went skinny dipping. So I don't know what it is exactly that got me busted. It was probably a combination of the two things.
Right.
I'm allowed back in Canada, by the way. But that's interesting because I do have a friend that's a burlesque dancer, and she's been in like movies doing that, my friend April. And it seems as though, I don't know why guys can't enjoy like the female version of Chippendales, because I feel that's what it would be, even if you strip down naked. What do you think it is with men that they wouldn't enjoy something like that? Because if you and I went to Chippendales, they'll be doing that type of burlesque show.
Well, listen, this is all about where the culture is today. Of course, there is a large group of male audience members, but in burlesque, there's also a huge group of female audience members. And you look at porn being publicly accessible and available 24/7. So I hate to actually put this to words, but people, it's fact. Why the burlesque when you can just sit at home and Google the full-fledged, carnal flesh show that you're looking for? I think that's what keeps it a challenging art form. Burlesque is so beautiful and so powerful, and I want more people to embrace it and experience it, because it really does activate so much of your inner fantasy and stimulate you in ways that porn or observing sex, ways that it just can't do. There's narratives that live in burlesque that are fantastical and just explosive. I love it, but we live in a culture where porn is just a click away. So
I know it's a shame because burlesque shows are so much more beautiful. You have all the beautiful outfits on, everything's in sync. It's like going to a French can show or something to that
Right,
effect.
right,
Do you
right,
think you
right.
ever would you've never done porn, have you? I mean, would you do it? Hardcore porn.
I've never done hardcore porn, and I've been offered so many times. I have been offered every time I'm at one of the XBiz or AVN events, it's always come up. Someone finds me. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Whether it's a performer or whether it's a producer. That's something that right now I'm not drooling to get into. I love the association that I have with it right now, and I'm a big porn consumer. So it's not like I'm against it in any way. I fucking love it. But right now, I'll be honest, I just don't know if it's something I'm desperate to get into. I don't know if it would be as great as everyone thinks it might be. I'm like, guys, it might just be mediocre.
No, no, no,
Like,
no. I mean, you see some of these male performers. I don't think I would want to be doing porn today. They don't seem like the nice big rough guys that'll like slam me against the wall and fuck my brains out. So, yes, I do like it rough. And to define rough, if you're that big doing that to me, you have to look like a Scandic Viking, or you do not get to
oh,
touch me.
ooh,
Yeah, but not too
ooh.
hairy. But I get what you're saying. I don't think
I
I'd be.
love hair. I love body hair. You know that? Like that's like
You
been the
big hair?
last like oh my God, all body hair. The last 3, 4, 5 years, I've just become obsessed. Like the idea of running my fingers through a thickly wooded forest of a chest and just pulling on it. Like someone, if you're out there, you bears, get in touch with me because I honestly I want to tug on every piece of your fur. Like it's
Just go to
hot to me.
Glendale. It's a lot of Armenian guys up there. They wear like the big shirts. And the hair on there, it looks like a freaking Chinese road map. And somewhere in there is like a gold chain. So it's
Yeah,
like
hot.
keto meets, yeah, some kind of whatever.
I love it. I love
You
it. But
do? I don't know, but okay, it
that's
could be
like
a little hairy.
yeah, but for me it's like Burt Reynolds hairy. That's hot. Like that's sexy to me. I just a hairy chest is really sexy. I don't know why. It's a newer thing to me.
Yeah, I
Oh,
guess. I mean,
oh.
we all go through these phases, but one thing I forever will never want is a man snoring in a bed. Have you ever dealt with a snorer before? And like, do you think it's grounds to break up with someone because they snore?
5,000%. It's one of my great, not even a pet peeve. I'm venomous about this. There was a meme going around that I saw that said something like snoring is such a boisterous and cocky celebration of your sleep that the other person has to witness. And it's like, it's so true. I especially hate, because I'm not a big drinker, so I especially hate the drunken partner snoring when someone is so enjoying of their sleep and it is rumbling and vibrating the fucking bed. I can't stand it. I would love to, push them around all night and like fuck with them. Usually I'll fuck with you a little bit. If you're a snorer, I'll bat your face around, I'll plug your nose, I'll do some really fucked up things to you to let you know that you're being irritating. But end of the day, after about 15 minutes of fucking with you, I just leave. I can't do it. Can't do it.
That's awesome. So I don't feel so
Yeah.
shallow.
No,
I
no,
once put a
it's
pillow on
real.
someone's face and I got in trouble for that. He actually called the police. I'm like, I'm not trying to murder you. I just need you to shut the fuck up or like go in your
Yeah.
goddamn belly. Like just do
Yeah.
something. Yeah. So
Thank
guys,
you.
it's a thing. It's not really a thing, guys. We really do not like it when you snore. We go
That's
through
right.
a lot to take care of ourselves for you. So if someone is asking you, such as your partner or whatever is in your bed that night, to turn the fuck around or just get the
Yeah.
surgery, then just do it. Because chances are you'll
That's
end up jacking off for the rest of your life.
That's right. And I remember dating a guy who was snoring so bad. And I said, you have to do something about this. Like we were on a vacation and I had never been on vacation. It was like a new thing. And the snoring was unreal. And like days I didn't have a good sleep. So he's like, don't worry, I fixed it. He went to the pharmacy and got like one of those nasal strips and tried it. No difference. There was no difference. And the next morning, he's like, didn't you have a great sleep? And I said, no. And he said, I bought the thing. Didn't it work? And I said, I'm here to tell you that thing was trash. It did not make a difference. I was still sleeping next to a Harley Davidson all night, which is not my idea of let's get some good sleep. Awful.
I just had to
Awful.
touch on that. I just had to. What are your thoughts on OnlyFans these days? Like people or the civilians quitting their jobs and giving girls that have been in the business a lot longer competition.
Yeah, I hear a lot about this. I hear a lot about this. We've opened up the playing field, haven't we? Because now anyone can be a content creator and anyone can sell their smut. I really hope that the this revolution of OnlyFans, I really hope that give it enough time, it starts to end the stigma of this work is dirty. Because one thing is for certain, listeners, viewers, get this, your dental hygienist, your Starbucks barista, your bus driver, people are selling their smut. So right when you think that this is an underworld reserved for the filthiest people on earth, that is horseshit. And you've got all kinds of everyday folks stepping into this. Now, porn folks who are also managing their content platforms, I would love to say, hey, y'all are going into this with an incredible amount of privilege. You've got your audience that has been with you, that now has opportunity to give you even more money, to give you money directly. I hope that you can see that as the grand opportunity there, because yes, there are a lot of people stepping in. Are they tourists to the business? Who knows? Should we really necessarily worry that it's going to cancel our opportunities for success? I'm trying to tell myself there's enough money for everyone. I'm trying. I really am. Also, hard work is what's going to set you up for success. So these tourists that might come in, look, if they're hard work hustlers, then maybe they deserve to be there. If they stick with it and they're putting in the hours and they're building their fan bases and they're finding success, guess what? Maybe they're meant to be here. That's what it comes down to for me. And I hope that it does change the way society sees our kind of work. I don't know. I think it's a bit of a long game because this is still, the pandemic pushed so many people into content creation. I feel like it's still something that we're trying to find the foundation of and get comfortable with. But who knows? I think there's enough money for everyone. I hope
Yeah, I
so.
remember I speaking to, is it Curvy Mary? She used to be a realtor. And during the
Yeah,
pandemic, she quit doing real estate. She's on OnlyFans. And the only way she
yeah,
told me she'd go back to doing real estate is if it was like real estate porn. And I guess there are
right.
things like that out there. I can't,
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. I don't have the patience like you girls do to do all the content creation, but I do love meeting my fans, when I can and, where I can sometimes, whether it's at a signing
Yeah.
or like a show or something like that.
Yeah. It's a
And
lot. It's a
fun.
lot. I mean, obviously anyone who has stepped foot into the adult industry knows that being a part of this industry is a lot. I mean that spiritually, I mean it professionally, I mean it emotionally. It's a lot. Now when you look at content creation, holy shit, I'm suddenly building out my week saying, when am I wearing makeup? When am I going to be at home to set up lights? When am I going to answer these emails in my inbox? There's custom orders in there. When am I going to get to them? Like, it's a whole professional operation. So all these people coming into it, not everyone's going to make it. Not everyone's going to have success. And guess what? Those subscribers aren't going to stick around. If you aren't catering, if you aren't creating and feeding the fishes on a regular basis, they fuck off to other waters. They really do.
Yeah, that's true. I think when the webcams first started coming up years ago, I tried it once and only once. Okay. And this is what happened.
Tell me.
I told the guy to go fuck himself. He was asking me something, and like, I guess it's normal for them to tell you what to do. I said, I don't have time for this shit. So I just like zipped off and I left the place where I was doing it to go and get a steak dinner at the local strip club. Now, the guy operating the whole thing, he's like, did she just leave? I'm like, yep, I left. So I just couldn't do it. So kudos to all the girls out there that actually do have the time and the patience to do this. And it's nothing against the fans. I just think it was a new era and they can get
Yeah.
carried away and ask you to do this with your toes or that and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Camming in particular, I do it twice a week on Cam 4, once a week on my platform Tempted. And it is so wild, especially when you have a group of, say, anywhere from more than 5 people. If you have more than 5 people watching you, get ready for a series of different fantasies that are expected on you to fulfill. And that's what's so funny, is that I have a lot of people that will come into my room and be like, we know Laura as this very articulate, mean dom, and we want her to tell us we're shit and that our dicks are small. You might as well spear it and roast it over a fucking fire. Like, they want that. But then there's also the, oh, I've had a hard day and I need to be squeezed and loved and hugged, and can you cuddle me in your tits? Like, you gotta go back and forth so many times. It's wild. We look at, the FBI as being master interrogators, and it's like, no, no, no. Look at this industry and how many times we have to flip personas and try and dig in and have these very intricate understandings of our fan base. Like, it's nuts.
I'll take the first choice, and I'll actually do that for free. I will do that for free. I will tell you, I hope your dick falls off and an alien comes after you. I will tell you, I want to slam you in your cock and like fry it over like a fire. Yeah, I don't know.
Love it. I love
Anywho,
it.
when I lived in Scandinavia, I was there for quite some time. They had a sex expo in Norway. And I know you spoke about Europe before, which is interesting because at the same time, when things are very, taboo in Scandinavia, but some people say, oh, but they're really open about sex. Did you go to Expo in Norway, to the sex expo?
I did not. Norway is actually, I have not been to Norway. I'm dying to go. I would love to go to Norway, but most of my work was through Germany, through France, through Italy, and all over the UK. So that was my home bases there. A little bit in Prague, a little bit in Budapest. So that's been my experience in Europe.
That's got to be so much fun. I love Europe. Like, that's my whole plan, is just to move back there in another year. And that's all I want to do. But of course, I come back to the States. It's beautiful. It's so different. And the guys, my God, the cops in Italy, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, where did you come from?
Oh my God, their uniforms are so tailored. Like, come on.
I know. It's like, could I just like reach in there and just like grab you? Which I sometimes do. I went through this phase of just grabbing men's asses when it was at concerts. This is like 10 years ago. I think now and again, I get a wild hair up my ass to like grab someone, or I hit on guys every day though. Whether it works or not, that's another story, because I have like the worst pickup lines ever. And last thing, what are your thoughts on this whole Roe versus Wade thing? I know it's a touchy subject, but everyone has different views, and I don't, to each its own.
I'll be so real with you. I think it is fucked up that this is coming up when our country is in the state that it is. Why the fuck has reproductive rights become such an area of anger? Why are we making this a priority bill to change? Look at the state of this fucking country right now. It's like out of nowhere, someone just said, oh, this thing in the back of the fridge, that was fine. We got to get rid of it. We've got to get rid of it. It was doing fine there. I find it so terrifying that we could see this rewritten the way that it's appearing to be. We won't know until, the end of June? But there's massive repercussions that are going to happen if we see this undone, if we see even the states that are changing. There are states that will forever say abortion is legal. I mean, I'm in New York City, but if we start to reduce how many states will receive abortion procedures or abortion patients, we're going to see a mad dash like never before. People are going to be in danger and in panic to get this done safely. And I find it so upsetting that we're at this point where the Christian right has to stir this shit up. Look at how much our country is going through and what we've been through. You think this is a priority? This is agenda pushing. This is bullying. This is greedy, and it's nasty, and it's unnecessary. And it's how many ways can we say it that if we were looking to do this to men's bodies, it just wouldn't be at this point. It wouldn't be at this place. It wouldn't be.
I think it's a
vasectomies are,
great distraction.
yeah,
It's a great
vas-
distraction from other things.
vasectomies are reversible. Why don't we give vasectomy to every young man or young penis owner out there? Why don't we give them vasectomies? And then when they're ready and they're responsible and they're in a good place, we undo them and say, great, let's have kids. But until then, like, what is the point in policing our bodies? It's always been on the female body. It's always been us. And that
Yeah,
to me is just, it's exhausting.
it's really sad they bring it, it's all brought up now, because if something's not broken, just leave it. But I feel
Yeah.
as though we have so many other things we have to focus on and fix. And that is just another great tactic to, kind of put your attention here. So whatever fuckery is going on there can go on because you're focused here. It's a great divergence.
Right.
But yes, I'm with you on that. In California, we're actually going to become a sanctuary state where they're passing a bill. So let's say you're in a state where only up to like 4 months you can get an abortion. If you want to go 8 or 9 months, you can come here and the state will pay for it, and they'll pay for you to stay here and for the doctor. So it's just a very wild time.
But at the same time, I don't want to see these states where it is illegal look to chase down the people that seek it out in sanctuary states or the people that provide it in sanctuary states. That's where it gets ugly.
Yeah.
That's where it's like, this is a serious Handmaid's Tale we're living in. Like, that's fucking terrifying at that point.
Yeah, it is. And I just hope that things just go back to, some kind of normal, not a new normal, but just back to the way it was before, and you put your little time, you put your time limit on it. Fine. Great. If you want to get rid of a baby at 9 months or 8 months, okay, have it and just put it up for adoption, because there's so many people in this country that cannot have kids and they would adopt, because that IVF treatment, let me tell you, like, I've had friends that go through that. You know how much money that costs for IVF and how it could like screw up your body and let alone like your mental health as well. It's a
business.
Scary.
It's a business, and it's a big money making business. And the women, we put our bodies up for so much to try and make that happen. I mean, the hormones, the medication, all of that, like it's wild. I just think that it's so unfortunate that this is happening right now when we are surviving a pandemic. We're trying to get a baby food formula situation handled. We've got, the fucking inflation, gas where it is. Like, give me a break.
Exactly. Thank God I have a motorcycle, because it's like $18 to fill it up, or $15. It depends what kind of gas I put in it on what day and where I go with it.
Bitch, I got my Metro card. You know how happy I am that I got my Metro card and I can ride the train all day long in this city. Thank God.
I love the Metro. I love the trains in New York. You meet so many interesting people. And like, I would never take the public transportation in California. In New York, if I see a hot guy on the train, I could actually brush up against him. I know this sounds very perverse and very like creeperish, and I'm not going to get in trouble because it's the freaking train and everyone bumps into each other. Yeah. Okay. So I have to get off that because I'll probably get Me Too'd or something. I've already been Me Too'd this year. I don't need it again.
Oh, Jasmine. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I wanted you to tell everyone where they could find you.
Yes, of course. Get in touch with me online, everyone. My handle on Instagram and Twitter is Laura X Desiree. So Desiree is spelled Desiree. There's a link tree there. You can find everything you need. I cannot wait to meet you.
Yes. And I will see you soon in New York. And thank you so much for coming on. All right. Let me learn how to stop this. I hope you're enjoying the ride on Crazy Train with Jasmine St. Clair podcast. So if you are, do me a huge, huge favor. Woo! Please go ahead. Go on to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, but Apple's great. Give me a nice rating and review. Send me a screenshot, and I promise you, I will send you a special goodie bag. So please rate and review Crazy Train with Jasmine St. Clair podcast. And in exchange for that, once I see the DM with the review and your name and address, I will get those gift bags out to you. I'm not going to tell you what's in it.